The story of this kid whose father loses his job, and it's during the troubles in the 80s, when money was very tight, and he gets taken out of his posh school and put into the very rough and unfamiliar Sing Street school, where he immediately gets beaten up and taken advantage of, and he forms a band in order basically to protect himself. First, to protect himself, and then secondly, to attract the interest of this very pretty girl that he's trying to get traction with. And he doesn't really get any traction with her until he tells her that he's in a band, and does she want to be in one of his music videos. It's wonderful to make a movie with music and with original music, and a movie that is not just with music in it, but a movie that's about the joys of making music, and the joys of creating, and the joys of artistic expression. And that's what John's movies seem to be about. And that actually is a really fun process. I think we were incredibly lucky to have the kids that we ended up with, and there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of auditions in between them. Although interestingly enough, Ferdia, who is playing Connor, was at the very first audition, and he was one of the selects from the very first open call that we had. And we went through hundreds of people after that, but he was always in the mix, and he was always coming back for callbacks, and we did chemistry reads with different Rafinas, and then he got the part, and he's really killed it. The movie takes place in the 80s, and there's even one sequence in it that takes place in the 50s, which is a sequence in Connor's mind, and it's a music video that's a 50s style American prom music video seen from an Irish 1980s perspective. So it's period plus period fantasy, international. I think the music is fantastic, and I think that one of the ways that the music is working is if you can spend 2 days listening to the same song over and over and over and over for 10 hours a day, and still go home humming it after we wrap. Each of the songs in the movie is imitating a different style of music from the 80s, from the mid 80s. So there's the band goes through, they do a Duran Duran song, a Duran Duran type song. They do a New Romantics. They do a Cure. They do an Elvis Costello type song, and each one of the songs is kind of based on these different styles of songwriting and of singing from the 80s. And it's really fun to kind of recognize the song that you haven't heard before, because you kind of get what the style is. John is incredibly open and collaborative with the actors, and with Yaron, the DP, and with myself, and with other people who are behind the camera. And he's open to trying new things. He's open to making, doing whatever adjustment, or throwing out lines, or throwing out actions to make a scene work. And I think that's why each scene is really comes out feeling honest and real. The relationship between Connor and Rafina in the movie is I think really wonderful, because it's so unlikely, and it doesn't really get consummated in any real way. She's gorgeous, older, more sophisticated, and kind of is off on her own and living her own life, and he is still very much getting formed as a character. And from the very beginning, when he approaches her, it's so clear that he's reaching above his grade for her. You're born into one family, and then there's the family that you choose, and the family that they chose are people, are other kids who, like Connor, is they're all outsiders, they're all picked on, they're all called names in school, but when they get together to form music, they find each other in that way, and they find this greater thing that they can all serve, which is the songs. And it's beautiful watching that camaraderie and that family come to fruition during the movie. So I think there's these two parallel love stories that are happening in the movie. The one with Rafina and the one with music in the band.